I'll sleep when I'm dead. Adopt this mindset and it is likely your death will come sooner and your quality of that shorter life will decline. Routinely sleeping fewer than 6 hours per day weakens your immune system, substantially increasing the risk of developing certain cancers. Insufficient sleep is also a key element linked to the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. Insufficient sleep can even sabotage dieting and weight loss. So this is all information found on the first few pages of the book. It made me hard. I was like, I can't wait to get into this one. And in fact, I was even thinking that when it comes to, do you remember when we did The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins? And the intro was just so good and we got into the substance of the book. It was naught but ash. I was thinking this is going to be the exact opposite. This is what we've been wanted. This is what we've been waiting for.
Pause this video right now. Go and read Why We Sleep by
Matthew Walker. And when you've read it, you can join us for the discussion.
Or you can join us anyway because we're going to tell you all about it. My name's Elijah.
And I'm Joseph and welcome to the Aisha Library.
So yes, overall, I thought it was a very good book. And one thing I'm going to say, which I do actually say in my notes later, but I'm going to say it now, is that I enjoyed the writing style. Because sometimes when we read these books that are so information dense, it's hard to get through. But he made it, I would have liked to hear more. But he did make a few jokes here and there.
Yeah, there's a couple of
light and
there's a couple of books that are written by scientists for scientists, and we're like,
and this wasn't necessarily
it wasn't necessarily that.
Yeah,
it was written by a scientist, but not necessarily for scientists.
But I mean, and it's what you want, really.
I wouldn't say he dumbed it down, but I would say he Englished it up.
Yeah, yeah, whatever that means. I know what you mean.
Everyone knows what I mean. It doesn't make any sense, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Consistently getting less than the recommended 8 hours sleep weakens your immune system and more than doubles your risk of cancer. Insufficient sleep, even for just 1 week, interferes with your blood sugars so profoundly that if a doctor tested your blood, you could be classified as pre-diabetic. Insufficient sleep can inflame your arteries, which can lead to blockages, setting on the journey to cardiovascular disease, stroke, congestive heart failure. Insufficient sleep increases all mental illnesses, schizophrenia, depression, anxiety, and suicide. When I say insufficient sleep, I mean less than 8 hours a night. Those sleeping 6 hours or less have 500 times increase for heart, coronary disease, and cancer. For the people who are sleeping less than 6 hours. Oh yeah, sleeping pills do not help. Sleeping pills sedate your body and stop it going through the vital REM and non-REM cycles. I've even noticed when I drink alcohol, I have a terrible sleep. But I don't let that dissuade me from having a little drinky every day.
Of course not. And every lunchtime.
Also, insufficient sleep makes you 200% more likely to have a stroke or heart attack. And that's 6 hours or less. A sleep-deprived heart even beats faster. And depriving ourselves sleep is something that we all do. One thing that this book has put into perspective for me, and since reading this book, I've actively tried to get myself 8 hours sleep. And I've never tried to do this before. I used to think 5 or 6 hours were acceptable. 6 is normally where I'd sit. I'd be happy at 6 hours.
Yeah.
But you're actually damaging, even if you feel fine.
Yeah, of course.
You're damaging yourself. It's as simple as that. We don't even understand to what extent we're actually damaging ourselves. Because as much as Matthew Walker does know, there's still a lot.
100%. You know, we're thinking, oh my God, I slept 5 hours today. I feel great. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. How much points did you have?
I have 6.
Okay, let me go again then, because I've got more than 6. And I'm just more important than you anyway. Imagine you have just had a child. You or a partner has just given birth. You are in the hospital and everything is fine. The baby is well. And the doctor has done all their checks and is about to walk out the room. Before they do, the doctor says, oh yeah, just one more thing. From this moment forth, and for the rest of your child's life, he will routinely and repeatedly relapse into a coma-like state. It might even resemble death at times. And while his body lies still, his brain will often be active, where he will often experience stunning and bizarre hallucinations. This coma-like state will take up, on average, about 1/3 of his life. I have no idea why he will do it, or what it's for. Goodbye. And it's funny when you put it like that.
When you put it like that, you're like, wow,
seems weird.
It seems scary.
Yeah, and it takes a massive chunk of our life and we just don't understand. So much is going on in your brain and your body when you're sleeping and we have no idea why until now. Pause this video right now. But yeah, no, it's a good book.
It was a very good book. There was loads of interesting stuff in there. And we will be getting into it right now. How do our bodies know when to sleep? Through our signal broadcast by our brains, the circadian rhythm, our bodies regulate when we need sleep and how much. Circa is a word in Latin that means around, and diem comes from diem, that means day. Sleep isn't all the rhythm controls though, it also controls when you feel like eating or drinking, your core body temperature, your moods, and the release of certain hormones. So now, more than ever, we must accept that our feelings are less of a product of our will than we've ever thought they were before. Yeah. The language we use, I'm hungry, I'm tired, is flawed because the deluded notion that we have any control whatsoever over what or how we feel.
That's what I say to my missus when I feel horny. It's not my fault.
Do you know what I mean? It's my circadian rhythm.
Let me show you this rhythm.
Yeah, nice. It's crazy, because I was even talking to somebody at work about this. And I was like, you think you're tired, you think you're hungry, but you don't know what either of those things actually are because you're too privileged. So
that's true.
And this I've now been backed up by science. Like, your mood is regulated by your circadian rhythm, your mood and your, whether to eat or drink, your body temperature, all these things that you think you have a modicum of control over.
And then it's on top of it, it's like when he spoke about dreams and he said, you actually see, taste, smell things that aren't there. Your body hallucinates.
Do you know what I mean?
When you're sleeping.
So
you see things,
you can't trust anything.
You can't trust anything.
That's lit.
And if your body can do that when you're sleeping, when you're not even conscious, what's it doing when you are conscious? You have no idea when it...
What if you take your schizophrenia meds and I disappear?
Yeah.
You hallucinate your brother your whole life.
You was never here.
Oh my God.
Jesus
the real brother was the friends we made along the way.
I just want to say I love the writing style. It's very engaging. The author says things like, I am unlike most authors. If you fall asleep while reading or listening to this book, I will not be offended. On the contrary, I'll be delighted in knowing that you're increasing the likelihood of remembering what you've learned by having a nap. I encourage you to fall asleep if and when necessary. But yeah, I love the writing style. And in fact, I've been meaning to read this book for about 2 months. And the one thing that was putting me off is because I thought it was going to be a drag to get through. So yeah, as I said to you, I really did... Did you listen to it?
No, I read it.
Oh, okay.
I had PDF.
What about The Boyfriend?
The Boyfriend I listened to.
Okay.
And the reason I listened to is because I had one credit left. I had one credit left and I used it on The Boyfriend because I was like, I checked which one came out first and which one came out last. And this one came out in 2017. No, the Why We Sleep came out in 2017. Exactly. So I was like, I probably won't be able to get that on PDF anywhere. And even if I did, because I even paid for the Why We Sleep, I paid for it, but the ebook was like $3.99. I said, if it was new, you're not getting any ebook $3.99. So I made a strategic decision.
I might borrow your Audible for next week if you ain't using it because someone wants to read The Boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't asking.
Then no. Evolution's greatest mistake. The drive to sleep was the last great biological mystery for scientists to solve. All animals evolved with drives to seek out food, water, and a mate. Many, if not all, questions about human behavior could be answered simply by considering how that behavior serves the goals of evolution. The drive to sleep, however, seems totally counterintuitive to those goals. And this is something I never actually thought before until this scientist walked me through it. He literally said, why would we need to sleep? An animal cannot seek out food or water or a mate when asleep, and the state of being asleep leaves that animal vulnerable to predators. Yeah. For this reason, our author claims that if sleep does not serve a myriad of functions, it would prove easily to be evolution's greatest mistake, which might actually be the smartest thing I've ever read, like in book format, because that blew my mind.
Well, here's another thing that blew my mind as well. Why adolescent teenagers' circadian body clock naturally stops them from wanting to go to bed early and keeps them wide awake until the early hours of the morning. Why do your teens seem lazy? So yes, there's an evolutionary reason as to why teenagers stay up late. Listen to this. Scientists believe that the reason why this happens is so that our adolescent ancestors could grow up. The shift in their body clock means that it would allow the adolescent teen to practice being on their own, a sort of competence training, if you will. That shift in their body clock, allowing them to stay up later than their parents, could get them up to 5 hours every day by themselves while everybody's sleeping. This genius biological shift gives them the opportunity to operate independently. This partially separates soon-to-be adults from their parents. So that is amazing how intricate evolution is.
Oh, of course.
Because it's just on a tiny shift, just to give teenagers a period by themselves, and that must have been what was necessary to allow these teens to then reproduce. So the other teens that never got that little shift, they didn't make it because they were always with their parents, and then they just got kicked off to be by themselves one day. So yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, you would never think.
You would never think about that.
You never think that. You just think teenagers stay up late just because they do.
Because they do. It's what you do.
It's just what you do. Yeah, but
Well,
it's a shift. It's a biological, evolutionary shift.
It's deliberate.
It's crazy.
And that
blew my mind. I said, oh my
gosh.
gosh.
Mind blowing. And it's with evolution. Evolution has planned things tens of million years in advance that you will spend your life never thinking about.
Think about the things that we just don't know. Then.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous.
You literally can't.
There are unknown unknowns.
There are known knowns and unknown unknowns.
And there are also unknown unknowns. Things we don't know that we don't know.
What? Let me go again because I've got one.
Yeah, go on.
As you know, there are morning people and there are nighttime people. We call them night owls, and they get vilified by the early birds.
Yeah, of course.
They get called lazy slobs, and if they had any self-respect or dignity, they would get their ass out of bed, as if it was a choice. Think about our ancestors. A diverse group of individuals. Some that are awake in the day, but some that can also keep watch at nighttime when the group is so vulnerable. So there's a reason for night owls.
Yep.
It's so interesting that these things that we brush off as nothing are things that are vital, or that were vital to the survival of our ancestors. You know, you're a night owl.
I've always been a night owl.
I'm not specifically a day person. I prefer to sit up at night too. But there are people that just simply cannot get up early in the morning. Apparently scientists say the people that struggle to get up in the morning are most likely have more Neanderthal DNA. That's what they say, because all Homo sapiens have some form of Neanderthal DNA, even if it's 1% or whatnot.
Yeah.
And Neanderthals are early risers. No, late risers.
To be fair though, I do understand like that whole thing about that blew my mind, to be honest. People, having the night owls, to watch over the tribe or people vulnerable. That whole thing blew my mind. But when I got to the point where he was saying certain people can't get up early, I was like, well, now we have a problem, because if I can do it, anybody can do it, right? So I work in the mornings.
No. When he says, he doesn't mean like.
Nah, he does, and I'll explain why I mean that. But let me get on to my next point first. Not exactly.
You're literally time skipping.
Do you know what I mean? Not exactly. You either live a hero or see yourself become the villain. I became the very thing I swore to destroy. Not exactly 24 hours. It was Professor Nathaniel Kleitman from the University of Chicago and his research assistant, Bruce Richardson, who decided to risk their physical and mental health in the pursuit of science. In 1938, the two men went into Mammoth Cave in Kentucky, a cavern so deep and dark that no sunlight can penetrate. It had been 200 years since science had proven that plants can keep their own time rather than relying on instruction from the sun. And Kleitman wanted to see if the deprival of sunlight would cause their internal rhythms, body temperature, etc. to become totally erratic. Instead, they found the opposite. Not only did they maintain an approximate balance of 15 hours awake versus about 9 hours of sleep for 32 straight days, so 32 days in a row, there was no change. Zero. Despite literally getting zero sunlight. They also discovered that the body's innate wake-sleep period runs over 24 hours when removed from the influence of the daylight. This is why the rhythm is called circadian, or around a day rather than a day. So the influence of the sun adjusts the body clock ever so slightly, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, adjusts it so slightly, And this happens in more ways than one. I even wrote an interesting point about it. But another thing, the sun, people don't understand how important the sun is.
Yeah.
But yeah, my next one is about the waking up early versus the night. So I don't know if you want to go first.
I've got more than you. I might say two and then you go back to you. I wish Matt Walker really demolished everything we thought we knew about sleep. The way he should have started the book was, let's get one thing straight. You don't sleep at the end of the day because you feel tired. In other words, you haven't expended all your energy. It's a trick that your mind plays on you. So you go to sleep. What actually happens from the moment you wake up is a mechanism in your brain builds up sleep pressure. This is what you feel when you're tired. The sleep pressure, or the chemical adenosine has built up. It has nothing to do with your energy level. There's a reason why you can stay in bed all day without doing anything and still feel tired at the end of the day.
Yep.
The reason is adenosine. So I don't think this book was the silver bullet I was hoping for. I wanted it to really, look, the book had amazing things in there, but I think he fumbled the start. I mean, he said he went with the facts in terms of this is going to happen to you if you don't get sleep. And that's one way to start the book. But the other way would have been to demolish everything we thought we knew about sleep. But I think he wanted to be a bit more practical, which, you know, I respect and whatnot. But I think the reason why he didn't go with the other method is because there's so much we don't know about the importance of sleep. But yeah, it's a good book that I don't regret reading at all, or buying or paying for. But let me go again, because you probably got about 2 more.
Three. I've got 3.
Caffeine is the number 1 used and abused psychoactive stimulant in the world. It's the second most traded commodity in the world. Number 1 being oil.
That's crazy.
Or cocaine. No, oil. Caffeine works by blocking the sleep pressure receptors, making you feel less sleepy. It's the equivalent of sticking your fingers in your ears to block out sound. Caffeine tricks you into feeling awake. Caffeine has a half-life of 7 hours. This means that if you have a coffee at 5 p.m, by 1 a.m, your body is only halfway through the job of removing the drug of caffeine from your system. Which is good to know, because I've recently started drinking coffee. Not religiously. Lord knows you coffee lovers form cults and you organise meetings where you demonise certain coffee shops or discuss what an Americano actually is. And those cults are, of course, run by elite coffee lovers who only drink black coffee. And I mean only. They don't eat.
Do you know what I mean?
They don't eat and they sure as shit don't sleep with all that caffeine in their body. But the point I was making, I've got off topic, is that I started drinking coffee. And I'd have a coffee around 5 p.m. and I was having the maddest nightmares.
Oh my God.
I was like waking up sweating, scared for my life.
Cold sweats.
And I'd go back to sleep and that motherfucker would continue right on. Drink was waiting for me.
You got where it left off, you know?
Right where it left off.
Oh, dear.
But yeah, people struggle to link the cup of coffee they had 10 hours or more earlier to the sleeping issues that they have. Or you could say that they struggle to link the caffeine that they consume to the sleeping issues that we have. We don't have any idea what this stuff is doing to us that we put in our bodies. But yeah, I worked out because did I tell you recently that I was having nightmares? And I didn't realise it was the coffee I was drinking, because I'd have a coffee around 4 or 5 because I'd be like, that's as late as I can really have it.
So you're talking 4 or 5 p.m.?
Yeah, p.m. And I was having nightmares, you know.
Jesus.
Nightmares. I was thinking, what the fuck is going on?
That's crazy. Funny enough, I actually reduced my coffee intake because I was drinking far too much coffee. But I wasn't just drinking coffee. So I drink all kinds of funny stuff as well. Like I said, oat milk latte, love it. Oat mocha, love it. Vanilla oat, decaf, triple whip, whatever, love it. Love all of it.
Bare caffeine.
Oh my God, ridiculous. But it was also loads of sugar, loads of additives, loads of stuff, right? So now I have 2 coffees. I have one when I go in the morning at work. And I have coffee and milk, that's it, literally nothing else. Or I might have Americano. And then I'll have one after I come back from break.
Americano was coffee and milk.
Well, it can be, but Americano for me is coffee and water.
Oh.
Espresso shot, water.
Okay.
Right, so that's black Americano.
Americano, white Americano would be coffee, milk, and water.
Right,
but
exactly.
You're saying you'd have a coffee and just milk. That's what you were saying.
Yeah, so latte is
no
coffee
water.
and milk. Latte is coffee and milk. Right, so you have double shot of espresso,
so you
heated
have
milk on top. Yeah. And milk is like 70% of the drink or whatever.
See, it's coffee fucking
100%. And then Americano, obviously.
Eat, he sure as shit doesn't sleep.
Americano is the hot water and then an espresso shot on top. And then you could put milk on top.
Cool. Now that your eyes are thoroughly glazed over.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Now that you're asleep. Do you know what I mean? See, mission accomplished. But yeah, I reduced my coffee intake. So I have 2 coffees a day now. And that's if I'm working. I won't really have coffee at home. But yeah, all the stuff about coffee blew my mind. Especially it spoke to me as a coffee lover. It spoke to me definitely.
Yeah. It's like you just want to stop it completely. That's
100%.
It feels like that's what he was telling us to do.
Exactly. And every time I'm drinking coffee now, I'm going to be thinking about
And
this.
it's not just coffee, it's caffeine.
Yep,
that's
so Red Bull. You love Red Bull?
All of it, bro, there's sweets. You know, kids are having caffeine sweets. There was a little trend, caffeinated sweets. Why do you need that?
Yeah, come on.
Sweet's not bad enough for you.
You know what actually blew my mind as well? Is the decaf. Because he was like, decaffeinated doesn't mean non-caffeinated, you know? And he said it could have like 10%, 15% caffeine in there. Yeah. Obviously, it's not going to say it, or it might say it, you might not read it.
So you don't even know what you have.
Exactly. So there's a security guard at work, he loves his decaf coffee. He has one every single day.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because you're thinking, I'm good. Do you know what I mean?
This is no caffeine.
Oh my God, we're so easy to trick.
Decaf.
They don't instead of non-caf.
They don't even want to say caffeine. It's just decaf.
Decaf, yeah.
Right. Barely anything in there.
Non-caf.
Faguzi.
Legit. It's a wazi, it's a woozy. It's a... Are we unfair on lazy people? That is to say, author Matthew Walker believes that due to the peaks and troughs of the varying circadian rhythms in each human, night owls and morning people may not be so by choice. Rather, they are the way they are by genetic fate. He calls it. I am instantly suspicious of anything that can remove accountability from me and place it on a force that I just don't, that's just nothing. Do you know what I mean? Or forces outside of my control. So I work in the mornings, right? But I am and have always been a night owl. So I set my alarm, I set 2 if I need to, or whatever, but I make sure I get to work. Employer don't want to hear about your circadian rhythm. I ask you, the first time you in late, and you say, well, boss, my circadian rhythm, he will slap you.
Slap him with your P45.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Unfortunately, my generation like to do this. We like to say, I couldn't get up, or I didn't have time. I'm a big culprit of that one. I didn't have time, for example, etc. And I know a lot of people that would love to read this kind of thing so they could say, see, I told you it wasn't my fault. It's just how I am. So far be it from me to argue with a scientist about the science of it, but is it a good thing to tell people it's not your fault you can't get up on time?
No, of course not. That's never a good idea.
So,
never say that.
huge black mark against his author's name. Strike 1, 2 more, you're out.
Yeah. Sorry, it was captivating my mind.
It wasn't that captivating.
No, it was.
Drew my eye for a second, man.
No, it was.
There was a fly on the floor, basically.
No, I was trying to work out if it was a flea or a fly.
See,
kept
I knew it wasn't captivating. I knew it. A flea or a fly, it doesn't matter.
It does. The one does matter, definitely. So this might sound like a stupid question, but how do you know if you aren't getting enough sleep? 2 ways. 1, could you very easily go back to sleep around 10 a.m. after getting up? Or 2, are you able to function optimally in the morning without caffeine? Because a lot of people think they're getting enough sleep, but, I just need my coffee to wake up. You know what I mean? So how do you even know that you slept last night? And I said to myself, my God, the author's got me.
Yeah.
You associate the fact that there's a gap in your memory through the night with the assumption that you've slept. If you had your memory wiped through the night, every night, you would have assumed that you've slept.
Yeah.
You cannot actually know that you've slept without some form of monitoring machine. The reason why Matthew Walker asks that question is because people with insomnia aren't always sure that they've slept. Aren't always sure if they've slept or not, for example. For us normal people, sometimes you'll have a difficult night where you are tossing and turning, and in the morning you'll think that you didn't get a wink of sleep at all, when in fact you did get some sleep, albeit broken sleep. It's just another example of the many ways our brains trick us, or should I say our sense receptors fool us. But yeah, no, I've never thought about that. How do you know you got some sleep?
That's crazy.
I don't.
I have a huge blank period.
Yeah,
that's
that's the best you could do. You done?
No, I got a couple more. What's interesting though is he gonna explain like that sleep where you wake up, you don't know where you are, you don't know when it is, you don't know what. Because that happened to me the other day. So I was off work and it was Friday, and because I had my days off will be like one on this end of the week, one on that end of the week. Sometimes I wake up and I do not know if I'm supposed to be at work or not, right? So I woke up and it was black outside. I woke up and I was looking around. I was like, I don't know where I am. I don't know what day it is. I don't know when it is. I don't know if I'm late for work. I don't know anything.
You should try sleeping in the day in the winter time. So one time,
yeah, that's an extreme sport.
Yeah, so one time I must have stayed up overnight. And then, so I don't know what happened, but then I must have went to sleep.
We bet you don't know what happened.
Yeah, I went to sleep early morning, about 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Then I woke up and it was still dark.
And it was
I didn't know if it was morning. I didn't know if it was night. I didn't know what.
Could have been morning the day after. Could have been 11. Could have been 4 p.m.
The same day I fell asleep on.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I had another experience where I went out drinking, and I woke up in a house and I didn't know where I was.
That's a different level
I
of scary.
didn't know where I was. Obviously, I was with my friends and we went to someone else's house, and there was a dog on me. I'll show you the picture. There was a dog sleeping on my legs. I didn't know where I was. I was like, what the It was a good night, though.
It must have been. We hope.
If you got 2, I got 2.
Was your battery hurting?
It always is. I swear it's my turn. It's got to be my turn.
I think so, yeah.
You just went. The reason why caffeine is bad for adolescent, teens, and pregnant women. It disrupts your deep REM sleep cycles. This is a type of sleep or a stage that you need to go through multiple times in the night for your body and brain to develop. Caffeine, which we know can take up to 14 hours to leave your body, stops you going into REM sleep. You are missing out on vital development. this is irreversible. You can never get that back. You can never catch up. It's almost like you have a certain amount of sleep cycles for your lifetime, and that is especially true for the period from newborn to a fully grown adult. Those sleep cycles are vital for your development. 365 sleeps, if you times that by 18 years, that equals 6,570 nights. In a perfect world, that should be 6,570 nights where your body cycles through the vital REM and non-REM sleep cycles. From the ages about 14 or even younger, where children consume caffeine through sweets, fizzy pop, energy drinks, and even frappuccinos every day.
Yeah.
You know, teenagers are consuming at least one of those caffeine free products a day.
Come on.
So that's knocking them out of REM sleep. So from the ages of 13 to 18, that's 5 years. So that's about 2,000 caffeine disturbed nights that adolescent children are messing up their vital REM cycles. 2,000 nights out of 6,000 is a considerable amount.
Yeah.
You're losing 2,000 nights.
That's 40%, bro.
You're losing a lot. And this is what kids are doing. Kids are having energy drinks and all of this stuff. This is willy-nilly. We don't give a fuck. It's just a drink.
Yeah.
You know? It's just a
McDonald's
drink.
caramel frap.
Yeah.
All of
caramel
that.
fraps. Listen, all of that stuff, they're having on a daily. They're combining that
Lucozade,
shit.
Fanta, all of that.
You're combining them.
Mix and match.
Do you know what I mean? So, you know, we see it says, oh, you shouldn't be consumed by someone under the age of 16. Yeah, fuck off.
Vodka Red Bull. You know what I mean? Oh my days, that's got to be the worst offender, isn't it? Vodka Red Bull.
Well, yeah, no,
trying to speed up your heart and slow it down at the same time.
I can't drink. I used to love energy drinks with alcohol. I mean, I like the taste, but I can't do it. When I go to sleep, my heart just starts racing.
But this is why I said I had to take down my this is why I said I had to take down my coffee intake because
you started racing.
Oh my god, it was like, and I started, you could feel it, like breathing differently, and it was just was not fun.
Trigger you off, like,
it was not
you
fun.
might be just chilling, and then all of a sudden.
And do you know what was funny as well? Like I would start to get like my emotions would start to go haywire. So, like I'd be having a great day, and out of nowhere I'd be furious, or it would just be mad. And I was just like, caffeine shouldn't. I didn't realize it was this dangerous.
Yeah.
We are indoctrinated to sleep at night. That is, we are self-indoctrinated to associate light with wakefulness and darkness with sleep. In the hypothalamus of the brain, there is a cluster of neurons known as the suprachiasmatic, do you know what I mean? Suprachiasmatic nucleus, elongated in females, spherical in males. This nucleus triggers the release of hormones in the morning to wake you up and send signals to the pineal gland to release melatonin to help you sleep. So your body's melatonin levels rise in the nighttime and fall in the daytime. As sunlight enters the eyes at dawn, even through the eyelids, the optic nerve that connects the eye to the suprachiasmatic nucleus allows it to apply a brake pedal to the pineal gland, cutting off the flow of melatonin. Matthew Walker claims that in this way we're almost solar powered. But I think a much better way to put it is that we're indoctrinated by drugs and social customs to sleep at night. A system which punishes night owls and rewards morning people. Yeah. Obviously, by today's societal standards, because people work in the morning. But yeah, I thought that's really interesting shit. That it's like we, kind of have to trick ourselves with drugs. Obviously, drugs developed in our body, but drugs to sleep at night.
Well, it's
like your body, it's a factory. Yeah, it's chemical substances. So your body's a factory, and it's just doing factory shit, and you think you're in control, but you're not. You're not even aware of half of this stuff.
This is why sometimes you say, "I'll try and get an early night," and then you'll be tossing and turning in bed for 6 hours.
Jesus Christ! I used to get home, and it would be like 7 o'clock, and I'll be like, "Well, I'll eat and I'll go to bed by like 8:30, whatever. Get a good night's sleep." You blink, watch a couple of YouTubes, you look down, it's 1 in the morning, and this is consistently every night. This will happen as well.
So basically, you are in control of anything. This is my last one. Sleeping will help you master a skill. A pianist spoke to our author to ask him, why is it when I'm practicing a particular piece and I cannot master it, and I'll work on it all day and all evening, and I'll continuously make the same mistakes in the same parts, but the next morning I'll come downstairs and I'll play it perfectly? The author said, now this baffled the scientist at first, so he took it to the lab to replicate this. Think of a full body massage. The masseuse will work on you from head to toe, but towards the end of the massage, the masseuse will go back over her work to give extra time on the muscles that need extra work. If you don't snooze, you lose. If you don't snooze, you lose.
Wow.
So basically, what he was trying to say, I've kind of messed this up, but what he's trying to say is when you sleep, it kind of, your brain goes through its most recent memories and kind of clears that and puts it into like storage. It puts it into the vault. It's like it takes it out of the cash register and puts it into the vault.
Into the safe, yeah.
And it's funny because I I've experienced that before. I've tried to learn a skill that I had trouble with, and the next time I tried it, I had it down to a T. And this was must have been like 10.
Yeah.
I remember it. But I never associated the fact that I was sleeping, which is the reason why I did that. Because I remember my Uncle Patrick, he taught me stepovers, right?
Right,
I was
okay.
in Clapham Common and I couldn't do it. And I really I was struggling. The next day, I come down, perfect.
Light work.
Perfect. And I thought, that's strange. And it's sleep helps you remember certain things. So there's so much things that, you know, we do or need on a daily basis that sleep helps us with, and we just don't have a single clue.
Yeah, crazy.
But yeah, that's me done.
I got one more as well. You kind of touched on this, but I found this so interesting. How coffee goes to war with your brain. There is a chemical in your brain called adenosine that increases in concentration for every moment that you spend awake. This is called sleep pressure. The higher the concentration levels of adenosine, the stronger the urge you feel to sleep. In a two-pronged assault on your brain, let's call it, high levels of adenosine suppress the wake-inducing regions of your brain and turn up the dial on sleep-inducing regions. This effect can be temporarily suppressed, however, with a psychoactive stimulant known as caffeine. Caffeine works to counteract the effects of adenosine in the brain by jockeying for control of the adenosine receptors, sort of like a game of capture the flag. Once the caffeine takes control of those receptors, it suppresses the adenosine and tricks you into feeling alert and awake. However, the adenosine continues to build up in the background. Once the enzymes in the liver strip away the effects of the caffeine, you get hit with a massive tidal wave of adenosine that was being held back. So if you've ever drank coffee to stay awake, and then afterwards you're way more tired than you was before, that is essentially what that is, which has happened to me countless times.
Yeah, sleep is a battle you cannot win.
You can't win. It will claim you in the end.
You could hold on for as long as you can, but you cannot win.
It will claim you in the end.
Just close you. You will just close.
And if you don't, you'll die. So that's why you actually can't win. They said if you stayed awake for like 12 to 18 months, you die. That's what they said.
Well, I heard something. See, he did say that in the book, but I remember reading something that is probably wrong now because I assume he's right. But so I heard that the Guinness World Record for staying awake is 11 days, and the guy died after. Maybe the record was just 11 days, but he did say that Guinness World Record, they don't do that anymore. They will not. They will accept you jumping off the mountains and whatever, you swimming with the sharks, whatever, but they do not recognize any sleep deprivation challenges because it's too dangerous, which is something to say.
That is
because
definitely
if
something.
you can do all the other
jump
shit,
off mountains
you
or whatever.
you can throw knives and apples in people's mouths. You can do all of that, but sleep deprivation, nope, sorry.
Jesus,
too dangerous.
That's crazy.
I'm on that bombshell. But yeah, no, it's a fantastic book.
More than a fantastic book. 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5.
I don't know. I mean, it's
gotta
a
be 4 out of
vital.
5.
It's got to be at least.
It's got to be
It's got
4
to be
out
at
of
least 4 out of 5. Yeah, it's a very good book. But yeah, we've got some books next week. One about autism, so that's right up your street.
So Elijah's biography.
It's too easy, wasn't it?
Too easy.
And then other book.
I'm ashamed of both of us.
Remember, yeah, I know. It was just, yeah. I'm more ashamed of you though. The other book, I can't remember. Let me check. You guys will find out next week. No, the other book is The Wedding People. I used to look at the blurb. It looks kind of interesting. Unless
Fair enough.
it's not. Yeah. Till next time.
Till next time.